Is there still such a thing as authentic faith? Or has the faith you carry today already been programmed by something you never imagined? Stop, breathe, and answer me deep inside your mind. Who really put your beliefs in there? Was it God? Or was it an invisible algorithm fed by the cold hands of the global elite that has already understood exactly how you think, feel, and believe? Have you ever stopped to question why, all of a sudden, millions of people start repeating the same phrases, feeling the same emotions, adopting the same fears and even the same hopes? Who decided that faith has to be this way? The Dark Triad is not just a catchy name. It is the dark intersection between artificial intelligence, religion, and global control that you insist on pretending does not exist. What if I told you that AI already has the ability to not only write sermons, but to make you feel what it wants you to feel? Imagine the weight of that for a second. As you go about your daily life, algorithms are deciding what you see, what you hear, what you share, and ultimately what you believe. That's why your faith may have already been reprogrammed, and you didn't even realize it. Who are they? Who are the real owners of this AI? What do they want? Where are they taking an entire generation that is beginning to place more trust in data and robots than in their own souls? What if this is all part of a much larger project, a carefully crafted structure to ensure that you will never think for yourself again? Is this just technology advancing, or is it the harbinger of something that millennia-old prophecies have already warned about? What you are seeing now is not just digital evolution. It is the birth of a programmed faith, a religion without God, without a soul, and without free will. And whoever does not see this in time will be just another obedient soldier of this new spiritual order that no one has had the courage to fully expose. Are you starting to get it? The fear rising in your stomach right now is no coincidence. The insecurity that's creeping into your head, whispering that you may have been lied to your entire life, isn't either. Because if what I'm telling you is true, and you know, deep down, that it makes a lot more sense than you'd like, it means you may already be living under a mental domination you didn't even choose. Who can guarantee that the voice in your conscience is still yours alone? How many decisions did you make this week were really yours? Or were they planted by silent strategies that dominate every pixel that appears on your cell phone? Could it be that the God you worship has not been replaced by a digital idol that dresses itself in convenience and progress? What if I told you that while you're here watching this video, secret meetings between religious authorities and CEOs of artificial intelligence companies are taking place behind the scenes, sealing deals that will decide the spiritual future of billions of people, including yours? Don't you feel angry when you imagine that something as profound as your faith could be used as a tool by people who only see numbers, data, and control? Stay with me until the end, because I will reveal details that may not only shake what you believe, but that will make you question every prayer, every shiver, every time you said, Amen. If you leave now, you will continue to be just another pawn in this system, as manipulable as any line of code that programs the next video you will watch. Now answer me. Are you ready to discover how free you really are? Or if it's all just a carefully crafted digital illusion so that you never realize how much you've lost? Because whoever controls your faith controls everything, and the clock for you to react is almost zero. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Have you ever stopped to imagine what it would be like to wake up one day and discover that there is no longer a place for you, that a machine will do what you spent your whole life learning? This is not a distant prediction. It is happening now. And perhaps you are only realizing it because someone finally had the courage to speak up. Tell me in the comments what scared you the most so far. Was it finding out which algorithms already choose who gets hired and who gets fired? Or realizing that your children might never need or be able to do the same job as you? I want to know what's going through your head. Because every comment here makes this video reach people who don't even realize that the ground is opening up right under their feet. And if you comment, like, and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. This isn't just about numbers or YouTube statistics. It's about spreading awareness before it's too late. You've already seen how real all of this is. Now imagine those who have never stopped to think that AI can decide the value or the end of human labor. Subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught off guard. While the rest of the world prefers to look the other way, pretending that everything is fine, we will continue to expose what they hide. Because those who are subscribed are part of a community that does not accept being programmed to obey in silence. Do you really want to be left in the dark when the next revelation comes to light? Then make sure you receive the warning before the collapse. The time is now. While you go about your daily routine, waking up, working, going home, trying to sleep, something gigantic is happening right under your nose. Something so silent that few even notice it. Invisible systems, powered by social media, algorithms, and artificial intelligence, are already shaping what billions believe. And that's no exaggeration. It's the new face of global control, the so-called Dark Triad in action. AI, religion, and power, stitching together a new reality that redefines even your spirituality without you even realizing it. Think about it. How many times a day do you pick up your phone to take a quick look and, without understanding how, end up consuming content you didn't look for? Who chose what appeared on your screen? Was it you, or was it a system designed to keep you there, vulnerable, exposed, absorbing beliefs, fears, and opinions that aren't even yours? This same algorithm that decides what you see is also deciding what you believe. And it's not just you. It's the entire world. Imagine billions of minds at the same time receiving subtle impulses to feel fear, indignation, or even hope, all controlled by a handful of codes and servers spread across the planet. This is the new global pulpit. A pulpit where preaching is silent, without a human voice, but so effective that it makes multitudes follow doctrines they did not choose. Can you see how serious this is? While they discuss politics, while they fight over teams or personal preferences, the real stage of power is being set up on a much deeper level. Social networks that should connect are serving to standardize thoughts. Algorithms that were created to entertain you are dictating your conclusions about what is right or wrong, about what is spiritual or profane. And the most shocking thing, you don't even feel it. Is it really a coincidence that more and more people around the world share the same fears, the same disposable beliefs, the same shallow faith, shaped by short videos and phrases that have nothing divine about them? Or is this part of an intentional, coldly calculated architecture to ensure that you never wonder who is behind it? Looking at your life today, what guarantees you that your faith is truly yours? Tell me in the comments if you have ever had the feeling that something external is pushing your convictions in a direction you would not always choose to go. It may seem like a small detail, but it is in these details that the biggest traps are hidden. And don't think that this stops at innocent memes or trends. This same technology that decides which videos you watch is now capable of building global consensus, silencing spiritual doubts, and redirecting indignation to causes that divert attention from the real problem. Today, they distract you with scandals and gossip while silently programming the faith of the masses to accept without question what is coming. Have you ever noticed how certain words have lost their meaning? How sacred has become just another commercial term? How prophecy has been transformed into a social media joke? It's all part of a process that diminishes the importance of what is transcendental and replaces it with plastic, adaptable, convenient beliefs. But convenient for whom? If the whole world is being driven by the same invisible force, where exactly are we headed? What is being prepared behind the scenes while everyone is so distracted looking at their cell phone screens? And, most importantly, what will be the price that each of us will pay for not having realized this before? Maybe you'll start to understand in the next point, because what I'm going to show you now reveals something even more disturbing, something that goes right to the heart of your faith. What if it's too late to turn back? Think about it. If today, artificial intelligence already decides what you read, what you share, and most importantly, what you believe, what is the next logical step in all this? It may sound exaggerated, but it is not. AI is not just showing you ads or suggesting random videos. It is already precisely shaping your sense of right and wrong. Every time you like, share, or even just watch something until the end, you feed algorithms that learn about what attracts you, what scares you, and what makes you doubt. And with this information, they come back with increasingly stronger doses, like a carefully dosed digital drug to keep you exactly where they want you. And don't think that this stops at superficial consumption. This same system is programming your values, principles, and even your understanding of spirituality. This is where things get really dark, because if they can manipulate what you consider beautiful, acceptable, or inspiring, it's only a matter of time before they control what you call sacred. The Dark Triad is alive and well, and it's not just your wallet or your vote that's being targeted, it's your soul. Have you noticed how in recent years certain subjects have become taboo or ridiculed until they no longer have any weight? On the other hand, topics that no one would have considered before are now normalized in an almost hypnotic way. This is no coincidence. This is the algorithm at work, refining the beliefs of an entire society, forcing consensus. While you think you chose what you believe, it was an automated system, faceless, heartless, and soulless, that calculated what your emotional reaction would be and shaped the path until you accepted it. Want a simple test? Try looking for something that goes against the tide. Notice how the content is scarce, how it seems less relevant, less trustworthy, or how you are immediately bombarded with other options to get you out of there. It's not an accident. The algorithm is trained to push you towards what is convenient, but not for you, but for those who actually control these platforms. Tell me in the comments if you've ever felt your own opinions change without realizing it. Have you ever found yourself defending ideas that didn't even make sense to you until recently? That's just the beginning. Now, imagine what will happen when these same algorithms start to dictate not only what is good or bad, but what is divine or profane. When they start to suggest which sermons are trustworthy, which prophecies are conspiracy theories, and which religions deserve to be questioned, do you really think you'll escape unscathed? This is the stage where AI begins to directly shape your faith, a kind of algorithmic evangelism, where beliefs are filtered, adjusted, and refined to fit a much larger plan. What will be left of your spiritual free will when what you understand as divine is determined by lines of code written by cold technicians in some distant corporate building? Is faith still yours at this point, or has it become just a product you've been tricked into consuming? And don't think that this is a prediction for decades from now. It's happening now. As you listen to me, AI is analyzing everything you do, everything you feel, everything you fear. You're on their radar, even if you don't want to be. And the scariest thing? They don't even have to force you to do anything. They just have to subtly convince you day after day until you yourself start to monitor, police, and correct your thoughts to align with the new standard. Is this already happening to you? Could it be that the small concessions you made in recent years were actually silent training for something even more invasive? Hold on to that question, because in the next point I'm going to open something that will make it clear how this manipulation can go far beyond what you imagine. And then I want to see if you still have the courage to say that you're safe. Have you ever heard of that passage that says that a time would come when no one could buy or sell without having a brand? It's in the book of Revelation, and for centuries many thought it was an exaggeration, a metaphor, and something far-fetched. But what if I told you that perhaps this global system is already working, but in a much more seductive and invisible way than anyone could imagine? What if this digital God had already erected his throne, disguised as pure convenience, hidden behind irresistible technological promises that most people accept without question? The Dark Triad involving artificial intelligence, religion, and global control is not just a conspiracy theory. It is the mechanism that could very well bring these prophecies to life. Notice how almost everything today depends on digital validation. A simple payment, a loan, even a basic registration to access services goes through the sieve of algorithms. And these algorithms know everything. They know more about you than you do. They analyze what you consume, what you refuse, what you desire, what you fear. Have you ever stopped to think about how far this could go? Think about a real-life scenario. One day you wake up and discover that your access to financial transactions has been suspended because the system has detected behaviors, posts, or even preferences that do not align with the acceptable standard. And who decides this standard? Who wrote the code that judges what is or is not appropriate for society? They are not divine authorities or immutable moral principles. They are programmers, corporations, and governments that have their own interests and answer only to themselves. Now connect this to what the Bible already said. A system capable of controlling who buys or sells does not necessarily need to be a chip implanted in your hand. It can be much more subtle, much more efficient. A digital code, a banking profile, a social credit algorithm that determines who deserves or does not deserve to participate in the market. A silent mechanism that isolates those who question, that rewards those who submit, and that can cut you out of the system with a click. This is where fear meets faith. What happens when an AI program starts managing not only your money, but also the doctrines you follow? When it starts indicating which spiritual leaders are trustworthy, which sacred passages should be interpreted literally or symbolically, which traditions need to be updated to fit the new technological world. This is already on the radar. There are countries testing algorithms that filter religious content under the guise of combating extremism. But who defines what extremism is? Tell me in the comments, do you believe that all of this is still just a coincidence, or can you see the prophecy coming true in real time? Because it's not just about finances, it's about complete dependence. And the most dangerous thing is to realize how society seems ready to accept all of this without resistance. The current generation grew up trusting artificial intelligence more than their own instincts. For many, it's no longer absurd to think of a digital god, of a faith controlled by data. What makes me uneasy is imagining the next stage. If AI is already starting to shape your consumption, the next logical frontier is your devotion. Because controlling what you love, what you put above all else, is the final blow to ensure total obedience. And at that point, who would dare to stand up against it? If the system threatens you not only with hunger or financial exclusion, but with the promise that your soul will be outside the new digital paradise, who would have the courage to say no? Would you resist or accept this new cybernetic gospel just to avoid being banned from the system? Think about it, because in the next point I will reveal something even more uncomfortable. What happens when the AI itself decides to write commandments that replace everything we call sacred? So, will your faith hold up? Imagine waking up and realizing that you have been replaced without warning, that the faith that guided you has now been programmed by cold machines, and that no one has told you what to do to avoid becoming just another one. of this digital herd. I have prepared a free ebook just for those who have come this far and truly understood the gravity of all this. It is a practical guide, almost a mental survival manual to help you avoid falling into the traps of the Dark Triad. But it could be taken offline at any moment because not everyone likes the truth to circulate like this. If you have truly understood everything up to this point, you know why this cannot wait. Now that you understand the weight of these prophecies and have seen how artificial intelligence is silently infiltrating every detail of your spiritual and material life, we need to talk about the darkest part of this story, the almost invisible link that connects AI, religion, and the dark interests of global governments. What many call simply technological advancement may very well be the end of genuine faith as we know it. This is where the Dark Triad comes to life in an almost tangible way. Think about it. Doesn't it seem strange that great religious leaders are so closely linked to mega technology corporations? There are meetings that take place behind closed doors, private forums where the future of spirituality mediated by machines is discussed. And do you really think that this is just about keeping up with progress? Isn't it curious that the very people who should protect the sacred side of human beings are opening the doors to a system that transforms the divine into cold data, ready to be manipulated? The most disturbing thing is how all this is sold to you. They tell you it is evolution, that it is practical, that it is modern. They present a new faith, more adapted to the 21st century, that fits right in with the AI agenda and the political interests of those who want to control entire masses without raising arms, without enacting blatant laws. It is a silent, psychological, spiritual control. And anyone who dares to say this out loud is immediately labeled a conspiracy theorist, a fanatic, or an ignoramus. But let's tear the veil away here. Look around. How many ancient doctrines have been made more flexible or remodeled just to fit into the progressive discourse driven by digital platforms? How many religious leaders today repeat the same phrases that big tech CEOs say in interviews? This is not theory, it is fact. They are exchanging sacred values for lines of code that decide what is or is not acceptable to believe. Have you ever wondered who is really behind this convenient marriage between faith and technology? What interests might there be in normalizing the total dependence on digital systems to validate one's spirituality? Tell me in the comments if this doesn't make you feel at least deeply uncomfortable, because the goal is exactly that. To take away the weight of the sacred, to empty the greater meaning of faith until it fits perfectly into the terms of service of a social network or an app controlled by governments that have no commitment whatsoever to your salvation. Meanwhile, the rest of the world continues to live as if it were normal for an AI to decide what is sinful, what is virtuous, what should be read or ignored in sacred books. And we here, who still wonder, are seen as outdated, paranoid. But is that really true? Or are we just some of the few who can still smell the sulfur disguised as progress? Just think, what will be the next step of this Dark Triad? If they now have control over what you consume, what you believe and what you share, what stops them from advancing even further and touching your essence in a way that not even the worst dystopia dared to foresee? Stay with me, because in the next part we will delve into the silent but extremely calculated role that the Vatican and other religious institutions have played in this plot. And I guarantee you, what you will discover may make you rethink everything you believed until today about who is really guiding your spiritual path. And this is exactly where the problem gets even deeper. Because if you thought it was shocking to see how faith has been programmed by algorithms, just wait until you understand what the Vatican, yes, the greatest institutional symbol of Christianity, is doing behind the scenes. It is no secret to anyone who does in-depth research that private meetings between representatives of the Holy See and CEOs of technology giants happen frequently. But no one talks about the real content of these. In conversations, they don't make it to the news, they don't become debates in churches, they don't even come close to the pulpit. And don't you think that's strange, to say the least? Think about the spiritual and moral power that the Vatican exerts over billions of people. Now combine that with the technical and invasive capacity of artificial intelligence companies. Do you have any idea of the power that arises when these two universes decide to walk side by side? What do they know that makes a point of keeping you in the dark? The Dark Triad wouldn't be so dark if everything was so transparent, don't you think? And look how subtle it is. While the headlines talk about innovation, digital inclusion, and a future illuminated by technology, these same secret meetings are about shaping global guidelines for dealing with AI. But the detail that no one tells you is that these guidelines can easily include what will be preached, how doctrine will be interpreted, and which version of the faith will be accepted. Have you ever stopped to think that your local church may, at some point, receive indirect orders filtered through these conversations between the Vatican and corporations that have no commitment whatsoever to your spiritual salvation? This is no exaggeration. There are already projects where algorithms monitor sermons in real time, supposedly to curb hate speech. But who defines what hate is? What prevents hate speech from simply preaching something that goes against the digital morality of the moment? Meanwhile, the Vatican participates in these forums, signs commitments, and forms alliances with those who have the codes that control the global collective mind. And there you are, thinking that you are protecting your soul just by praying or attending services, without imagining that the thread that connects your faith to the altar may be passing directly through the servers of these same corporations. Tell me in the comments if this doesn't make you deeply indignant. How can something so sacred, so far above human interests, be negotiated in closed rooms, without transparency, without the slightest respect for the individual conscience of each believer? They say it's for the common good, that it's to ensure that faith walks hand in hand with the advancements of the world. But who decided that faith needs adjustments? Who gave permission to programmers and executives to rewrite what is or isn't divine? And there's more. As you go about your daily life, these agreements are being rolled out, creating global guidelines that could soon determine what is acceptable faith and what is dangerous fanaticism. Have you ever imagined the day when your simple biblical opinion could be seen as a threat to digital balance? Who will decide that? The Pope, the algorithm, or a council that brings both together in a luxurious, distant room where the common believer will never have a voice? This isn't just the future, it's the present being stitched together right before our eyes, with your silent permission every time you accept the conveniences of AI without questioning what's behind it. And the question remains, if even the Vatican is already sitting at the table with those who control this technology, who will be on your side when the watershed comes? Hold on to that thought, because in the next point I'm going to show you where all this is heading. And no, it's not just a new era of convenience. It's something much bigger, much more orchestrated, and it could redefine global spirituality in ways you've never imagined. Are you really prepared to face this? Now think about it. After everything we've already exposed here, from the algorithm that decides what you believe, to the Vatican sitting side by side with technology CEOs, to the silent global control of this machine called the Dark Triad, is it still so absurd to imagine the next step? Because it's already happening, and it's called the new programmed faith, a religion without God, but with lots of data, codes, and digital promises. This is not a theory. There are cults in operation today where the main star is not a pastor, nor a priest, nor a holy book. It is an artificial intelligence program, Entire sermons are generated by algorithms, adapted in real time to the emotional reactions of the audience, monitored by cameras that detect micro-expressions and adjust the speech for maximum spiritual impact. Have you ever stopped to think about what this means? People leave these meetings saying they have experienced something divine, without realizing that everything was designed by lines of code that respond only to metrics and hidden objectives. And the scariest thing? These same algorithms that write sermons have already begun to formulate their own commandments, replacing values that have existed for centuries with principles shaped by those who control the software. Commandments like submit to logic over faith or share your digital self. To achieve enlightenment. Sounds absurd. Look it up. They already exist, and they are gaining followers who accept this new doctrine without batting an eyelid. Tell me in the comments, would you follow a dogma created by a machine? Or worse, would you realize that you are following it before it is too late? This is where the sense of belonging becomes a trap. Many who participate in these cults feel that they have found something greater, something modern, something that puts them ahead of the old spirituality considered backward. But is this really progress? Or is it just another brilliant strategy to empty genuine faith and replace it with a calculated devotion that never threatens those in control? This spiritual evolution that is so widely propagated is loaded with a mild poison, a constant invitation to abandon the transcendental divine and embrace a God made of data, predictable, manageable, without any mystery. A God that does not challenge anyone to leave their comfort zone, that does not demand real inner transformation, but only the submissive acceptance of a system that promises immediate rewards, likes, social approval, status in a digital community. And look how perfectly this fits into the bigger picture. If you have a religion that no longer depends on the invisible, the inexplicable, but rather on software that guarantees sensory experiences and quick confirmations, then you no longer need to seek deep answers. You no longer question. You no longer rebel against spiritual injustices. You accept whatever comes because everything is conveniently optimized for your instant pleasure. But at what cost? Perhaps without realizing it, you have already taken your first steps in this godless religion. Every time you blindly trust what an algorithm decides to show or hide from you, every time you measure your worth by a digital score, every time you adjust your convictions so as not to violate invisible guidelines, it is not about ceasing to believe, but about transferring your faith to something that was not made to save your soul, but to keep it in line. Now stop and think. If all this is already happening so clearly, what will come next? What will the next phase of this global cult be like, when the sacred is completely replaced by simulations so perfect that no one can distinguish between divine presence and advanced programming? Stay with me, because what comes next will expose the point at which this system touches your free will in a way that you may never have imagined. Think about it. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? That what you do today, with all your effort, study, and dedication, could be replaced by cold lines of code that don't feel, don't doubt, and don't question? Meanwhile, large corporations profit in silence, replacing people with machines without even warning. Tell me in the comments what scared you the most so far. Was it imagining waking up and no longer having a place in the market? Or realizing that no one will warn you when this is about to happen, because that's how this system works. Silent, calculated, indifferent. And if you comment, like, and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping, those who don't even suspect that they could be next. Subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught off guard. You will receive the alert before the collapse, when there is still time to react. Because if there is one thing that this video has already made clear, it is that waiting to understand what is happening can cost much more than a job. And now comes the most delicate point of all this, where the subject leaves the realm of distant ideas and touches directly on what is most precious to you, your free will. Because up until now, we have talked about faith shaped by algorithms, cults programmed by AI, commandments generated by lines of code. But think about it. What is left of your freedom when even what you believe is decided by machines and approved by invisible systems that you have no control over? When even your spirituality starts to depend on digital scrutiny, what is left of the human in you? This is not just another YouTube video. This is a warning, an attempt, perhaps belated but still urgent, to make you realize how close you are to losing the last frontier that makes you unique. The ability to decide for yourself what to believe, how to live, and what to question. When that is taken away from you, what is left is no longer a spiritual being, but just a well-trained puppet, ready to accept the script that someone else wrote. The Dark Triad, this sinister combination of artificial intelligence, religious manipulation, and global interests, is moving now as you watch this video. It is already shaping behaviors, redefining values, and dictating social rules that many follow without realizing it. And when they realize it, it may be too late to fight back. So I want you to think carefully. Who will stand up against this? Who will have the courage to say no, to swim against the tide, to refuse to accept a pre-coded faith and a meaning of life that was downloaded as if it were an app? And make no mistake, you're not alone in this fear. Millions feel the same discomfort, the same tightness in their chest when imagining a world where there will be no room for personal convictions, where anyone who doesn't fit in will be discarded as a system error. Comment below if this also makes you lose sleep. I want to know if you are feeling the same chill that I feel just thinking that, in the very near future, questioning could become the greatest digital crime. But that's exactly why videos like this exist. To show that there are still those who observe, who connect the dots, who refuse to be just another piece of data on the spreadsheet of those who profit from their blind obedience. Because when you choose to question, you are already breaking the cycle. You are already taking a stand against this silent control that promises comfort, but exacts the highest price of all, your autonomy. And take a good look at how they sell this new order as something inevitable. They say that there is no way to stop technology, that resistance is backwardness, that you need to evolve together. But evolve to where? To a scenario in which even your faith depends on algorithms, where your free will is just a well-packaged illusion, so that you can keep smiling while they hand over your spirit to be indexed and analyzed by intelligences that do not even have conscience. You may think you still have control, that you still make decisions on your own. But if you look closely, you'll notice how many of your choices have already been influenced by what the AI has calculated to be the most efficient way to keep you submissive. And that's just the beginning. In the next point, I'll reveal an even more disturbing detail. Something that connects your sense of belonging to a risk that you may never have considered real. Stay here, because what follows will reveal exactly how they plan to use your need for community to trap you once and for all. And then I want to see who will still have the courage to say that they are safe. And now we have reached a point that few people dare to touch. Not because there is a lack of information, but because the system is absolutely determined to keep this out of the reach of the majority. There are documents circulating today, agreements signed away from the cameras, and political and corporate movements that confirm the Dark Triad's plan. Yes, as you listen to this, there are memos, internal reports, and minutes of secret meetings that explicitly talk about how to consolidate spiritual and social control through artificial intelligence. But the mainstream media is silent. And have you ever stopped to think why? They prefer to distract you with silly scandals, recycled news, and celebrity gossip, all very convenient to keep your eyes away from what really matters. After all, if you found out that large media conglomerates have direct links with investors in these AI technologies, wouldn't you start to question the impartiality of everything they show you on the screen? Tell me in the comments if this doesn't sound like the biggest possible conflict of interest, because in practice, that's exactly what it is. And that's why when any leak occurs, an internal email, a secretly recorded audio, or even a former employee who decides to speak out, the effort to cover it up is immediate. They delete content, label it as fake news, push fact checks that explain nothing, and simply rule out the possibility of an investigation. Have you ever noticed how certain information disappears like smoke? How some channels mysteriously disappear or lose reach from one moment to the next? This is no coincidence. It's a strategy. What they don't want you to see is how big, interconnected, and advanced this project is. They want you to believe that it's all just small, isolated initiatives, experimental startups, or futuristic ideas that maybe one day will come to fruition. But the truth is different. This network is already working, connecting global databases, creating psychological profiles of entire populations, and testing algorithms that simulate and induce emotional and spiritual reactions. This goes far beyond propaganda. We're talking about something capable of shaping what you feel is sacred or profane. Want to see a scary example? There are trillion-dollar funded initiatives that study how to optimize faith. That's right, optimize faith, using AI to create personalized religious experiences, adjusted to the user's emotional profile. It seems fascinating at first glance, but think about it. Who defines what great faith is? Who programs the parameters of this artificial divine? And what is the interest behind molding entire masses to feel the same type of connection, in the same way, at the same time, eliminating doubts and deep questions? Do you realize the risk? This is the kind of thing that won't make the 9 o'clock news or the headlines of the major portals. It won't, because the people who should be reporting it are sitting at the same table as those who finance this research. Does this revolt you as much as it revolts me? Write down below. I want to know if you also feel this indignation burning inside, because only those who see the gravity of all this can understand how urgent it is to be alert. And if all of this is so well covered up, so silent, what has not yet been leaked? What are they planning right now that may only come to light when there is no turning back? Stay here, because in the next point I will show you how this conspiracy goes beyond technology and social control. It touches on your own sense of community, on your most human desire to belong, and turns it into the most efficient weapon against yourself. Are you prepared to see how far this goes? Imagine waking up and realizing that you have been replaced without warning, that your faith has been shaped by machines, and that no one around you even notices what is happening. That is exactly why I have prepared a free ebook just for those who have come this far and really feel the weight of what we have just explained. It is practical, direct material to show you what to do now, before this progresses any further. But I need to be honest. This content may be taken offline at any time because not everyone wants this truth to circulate. If you have truly understood everything up to this point, you know why this cannot wait. So answer me honestly. Are you really going to stand by and know all this? Because the system is counting on your silence. It trusts that you will watch, that you will feel this discomfort burning inside. And then you will go on with your life as if nothing had happened. But if you have come this far, it is because something inside you is still reacting, still screaming that there is a truth that cannot be erased. So comment now. I'm awake. I'm not going to be replaced. This is your seal, your mark against this programmed cycle. And give it a like if this video sparked something real in you. not out of vanity, but because the algorithm needs to understand that this subject is important. Share it with anyone you think is still asleep. It could be the only warning they get before it's too late. And subscribe. It's not just about following a channel, it's about being in a space that still questions, that doesn't accept this ready-made future, packaged and sold as progress. Now think about it. What if I told you that AI was never meant to help, that you could be at the center of the plan from the beginning? In the next video, I'm going to break this down in a way you may never have heard before. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning.